From this lecture onwards, we will discuss the properties of continuous time Fourier transform. First, we will discuss the linearity property of continuous time Fourier transform. Okay, and we will discuss the property, definition, and the proof. And we'll also see how we can apply the linearity property in solving problems. This is the linearity property actually. If there is a signal ax1 of t plus bx2 of t, then its Fourier transform, Fourier transform will be in the form ax1 of j omega plus bx2 of j omega. I'll give you some more details. For example, assume that there is a signal x1 of t, okay, and assume that its continuous time Fourier transform is given by the equation x1 of j omega, and which is integral minus infinity to infinity x1 of t into e raised to minus j omega t dt. Okay, and similarly there is another signal. Assume that the signal is x2 of t, and the continuous time Fourier transform of the signal x2 of t is x2 of j omega, and x2 of j omega is given by the equation integral minus infinity to infinity x2 of t into e raised to minus j omega t dt. Okay, so if there is two signal in this particular form x1 of t and x2 of t, and now I need to find the Fourier transform, continuous time Fourier transform of the signal of the form a x1 of t plus b x2 of t. Okay, I need to find out the Fourier transform. So in order to find the Fourier transform, I don't want to calculate and to use the equations. I can directly write the final result will be like this: a x1 of j omega plus b into x2 of j omega. Okay, instead of using this Fourier transform equation, I can directly use this particular result. That is, if you know the Fourier transform of x1 of t and x2 of t, I can simply add the Fourier transform of x1 of t and x2 of t, and you will get x1 of j omega plus x2 of j omega. And if you are multiplying this first signal with a constant a, the corresponding multiplication we can apply in the Fourier transform. That's a scaling property. Okay, amplitude scaling. Now I can prove this particular result. Now we'll discuss the proof. Okay, we already know that x1 of t is x1 of j omega. Now we can find the Fourier transform of the signal, and the Fourier transform of the signal, continuous time Fourier transform of the signal a x1 of t plus b x2 of t can be written as integral minus infinity to infinity. Okay, normally the formula is integral minus infinity infinity x of t. In place of x of t, now it is given a x1 of t plus b x2 of t. So you can substitute that. So this is the signal, your new signal, into e raised to minus j omega t. Okay, so this is a signal. Okay, this part is actually indicating the signal. Now if you split this expression, split the integration, it becomes integral minus infinity to infinity a x1 of t into e raised to minus j omega t dt plus integral minus infinity to infinity b x2 of t into e raised to minus j omega t dt. Okay, we know that a and b are constant, so if you take a outside, it's simply integral minus infinity to infinity x1 of t into e raised to minus j omega t dt. In the second expression, you can take b outside because b is a constant, and remaining x2 of t into e raised to minus j omega t dt. Now if you compare the first equations, this is the first equation and this is the second one. We know that instead of this integral equation, I can substitute x1 of j omega, because this is the expression for finding the Fourier transform. So I can simply write by applying the result of equation 1, it becomes x1 of j omega. From 1 and 2, I can write it's a x1 of j omega plus b x2 of j omega. So now we proved the result. See the Fourier transform of ax1 of plus t bx2 of t, you can simply write ax1 of j omega plus bx2 of j omega. Okay, so this is a linearity property, and now we'll see how we can apply the linearity property to solve the problem. Okay, so you already know the linearity property. Linearity property states that if there is a signal ax1 of t plus bx2 of t, its continuous time for a transform will be in the form ax1 of j omega plus bx2 of j omega. And this equation to find for a transform x of j omega is given by integral minus infinity to infinity x of t, the given signal, into e raised to minus j omega t dt. And in this particular question, it is given x of t is minus 3 e raised to minus 2t into u of t plus 4 e raised to minus 2t into u of t. And we know from the previous lectures, there's a standard signal e raised to minus 8 into u of t. And its Fourier transform is 1 by a plus j omega. If you know this particular result, here you can see there will be two signals. I can modify this equation, assume that this is minus 3 into x1 of t plus 4 into x2 of t. So now we can find the Fourier transform of x1 of t, that is e raised to minus 2t into u of t. Assume that this is a signal x1 of t, and from this particular result, e raised to minus 8 into u of t is simply 1 by a plus j omega. Okay, you can remember this particular result, and by applying this particular equation, you can find the continuous time Fourier transform of the signal, and this is x1 of j omega. It can be written as 1 by 2 plus j omega. And now we can find the Fourier transform of the second signal x2 of t by using the result. This is again e raised to minus, okay, let be e raised to minus 3t. Okay, e raised to minus 3t into u of t. Okay, its continuous time for a transform will be x2 of j omega. It can be written as 1 by 3 plus j omega. In place of a, it is minus 3 here. I simply modified the question. So 1 by 2 plus j omega by 1, sorry, 1 by 3 plus j omega. Now, by applying the linearity property, so when you do the problems, you should mention the property, which property you are using. So by applying the linearity property, and you should also write this property, which is already written in this particular question. By applying linearity property, you can write this minus 3 x1 of t plus 4 x2 of t. And the Fourier transform of this signal will be, by applying the linearity property, we know that you can multiply the constant directly. So it becomes minus 3 x1 of j omega plus the second constant is 4 into x2 of j omega. And if you apply the result, it becomes minus 3 into 1 by 2 plus j omega plus 4 into 1 by 3 plus j omega. Okay, without using the integral equation, I can directly write the result, provided if you know the result of x1 of j omega and x2 of j omega. So this is standard signal e raised to minus 8 into u of t. You should remember this formula 1 by a plus j omega. We already discussed in the initial lectures how to solve this particular problem. Once if you know the result, you can directly apply or you can directly find x1 of j omega and x2 of j omega. After that, without using the integral equation, which is x of j omega, I can calculate. And this is using property. And without using property, I can see without using property, we'll see how we can solve this particular problem. Okay. See, if you are not using this property, we need to find the Fourier transform of the signal. So it is in place of x of t, it's minus 3 e raised to minus 2t into u of t plus 4 into e raised to minus 3t into u of t. Okay, this is a signal into e raised to minus j omega t dt. Okay, and we need to split the integral. So it becomes integral minus infinity to infinity we can write minus 3 into e raised to minus 2t into u of t into e raised to minus g omega t dt. And the second term is 4 into integral minus infinity to infinity e raised to minus 3t into u of t into e raised to minus j omega t dt. Okay. And u of t is a standard signal, u of t is a step signal. We can write 1 for t greater than 0 and 0 for t less than 0. So if you draw the graph, it will be like this. For t greater than 0, the signal magnitude is 1. So we can simplify the integral equation. It becomes minus 3 into 0 to infinity. We don't want to integrate from minus infinity to 0 because u of t, it's 0 in that particular range, and remaining e raised to minus 2t, u of t is 1, and e raised to minus g omega t. Okay, so if you rewrite this, you can write e raised to minus 2 plus j omega into t. That's the first term. And second term becomes 0 to infinity because there is also u of t, e raised to minus 3 plus j omega into t dt. Okay, and after applying the integral of e raised to minus 2 plus j omega, it becomes e raised to minus 2 plus j omega by 2 plus j omega. Already there is a minus 3 and we need to apply the limit 0 to infinity. For the second term, it becomes e raised to minus 3 plus j omega by 3 plus j omega, and you need to apply the limit from 0 to infinity. And after applying the limit on simplification, you will get exactly the same result, minus 3 divided by 2 plus j omega plus 4 into 1 by 3 plus j omega. So after applying the limit, you will get this particular result. So if you compare these two are same. Okay, so you don't want to perform in two different way. You can use any one method. If you use the linearity property, you can see that the steps are very less. Okay, but if you use the direct method, you need to write many equations and many simplification steps. Okay, but if you know the result and if you know the linearity property, you can directly write the result. Okay, so once you use the linearity property, please remember that when you apply the linearity property, you should mention the linearity property in the problem. Okay, so in this case, I already mentioned this linearity property. Otherwise, you should write linearity property. According to linearity property, you can write this. Okay, so you should always mention which property you are using. Okay, so here we are applying linearity property, and the linearity property is ax1 of t plus bx2 of t is ax1 of j omega plus bx2 of j omega. Okay, thank you.